Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler, and today is episode 78, my new RV in quotes. And what you can see from the picture is it's actually a combination of my car and Hilton Grand Vacation Max, a new integrated service from Hilton Grand Vacations and Diamond International. So I'll go through an overview, why I can use it like similar to an RV, and all the pluses and minuses. But first I'll tell you a little bit about my channel, and then I'll drop right into the details. Hi, my name is Cliff and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. The purpose of this channel is to provide education and knowledge for those interested in timeshares. I've been a timeshare owner for over 15 years. I'm an elite owner with Marriott Vacation Club, Hilton Grand Vacations, and Worldmark by Wyndham. I've also posted over 70 timeshare video reviews of different locations, and I've posted 40 timeshare video tips. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and I can be found at Timeshare Trav on Twitter and Facebook, and my website is www.timesharetraveler.com. I'm going to go over the overview now of what we're going to talk about. And the truth is, I'm jealous of a traditional RV, and so I'm always looking for ways to accomplish what I didn't get, because obviously I chose timeshares. But I want to talk about my new RV, and of course it's somewhat of a pun, but I'll walk through what the specifics of my new RV are. But what's unique about my RV actually goes to Hawaii. And my new RV loves to travel in the US, so it's a no compromise scenario. And my new RV likes hotels with kitchens, so I get the best of both worlds. So I'll go into great detail about each one of those items now. I'm first going to talk about why I'm jealous of traditional RVs. I see them on the road a lot, and I always wish, in some ways I had one, but I'm happy. I'm actually happier where I am, but I still have the joy that I see when I see RVs. And I basically chose a timeshare over an RV because I wanted to go to Europe and Hawaii. There were pluses and minuses everywhere, but there was sort of like the check mark of what I couldn't do if I had bought an RV, which is you can't, other than renting another one when you get there, which is extremely expensive, and you can't take it really to Hawaii unless you live in Hawaii, and then you can't take it to the mainland. But I've always kind of wanted an RV because I love the freedom that I've available to go where you want, when you want, and a lot of those things. And I've kind of baked that into my timeshare, but it's really one of the things that I loved. And the ability to explore the United States or even Europe or wherever is a romantic thing to me. It's something about it's not the big things. It's not the tourist things, although nature is beautiful and stuff. It's sometimes just, meeting people locally in a coffee shop or, and just chatting and learning more about their life and what it's like to live there. Just learn more about people. I really enjoy that. The other thing that's happening is a consolidation of the timeshare industry, and HGVMax is an example of that. It means there's many more locations now available for us, and that's really changed the equation in my mind about the traditional RV. You couldn't get many of the same things, and I had sort of given up, and so the romantic part of the RV that I always wanted is seeming to come alive and available to me. And I'm a traveler that I like to cook. Not fancy cook. I just like basic, simple meals, and I know what's in my food, and so a kitchen is critical. So timeshares over a hotel made sense. Or then that's again why the RV was so interesting. So, but the big compromise I have had to make is that a lot more storage in an RV, and I had to really focus on what was really required because the amount of storage I have in my quote unquote a new RV was less. And of course, nothing would be complete without describing my new RV, so you actually knew what I was talking about. So my future purchase next car is a Camry hybrid or similar. There's a Sonata hybrid that I like as well. And I was thinking about electric, but I don't think we're quite where there's charging stations to where, I don't want to make my trip planning more complicated by not being able to fully charge my car. And so I'm going to get 50 plus miles a gallon. So that the recent uptick in gas prices, to me, is going to be offset by my purchase of a hybrid. And it's still, Toyota Camry is similar to what I drive today. It's a Hyundai Sonata. So it's still a relatively large car, so my storage issues won't be compromised. And again, HGVMax, which is the other part of the IV, it's sort of kind of the trailer that you don't really pull behind, but you get to, if you think about, campers and so forth, it's my humorous, sorry for the bad humor, but humorous method of looking at that. And so there's locations across the U.S. for driving vacations. And that, to me, and this is my personal opinion, I don't want to criticize RVs because I'd be the last to be a fully knowledgeable about everything. But I view that the timeshares are luxurious locations. And then even if you say that you can do just as good on RVs, I don't know that the pools and the jacuzzis and the other things that are available compared to most of the RV camps. I think the timeshares I would be considered luxurious, and that is a plus for me. And not super luxurious, but really nice, really nice. And again, I'm now using my timeshares. It's much like an RV, as it's not a vacation. I'm actually living in them much like you would live in an RV. And right now, like I say, gas prices are up $5 a gallon-ish. It can be a little lower, a little higher, depending on where you are in the country. I did a trip all the way across the country, and it was $200 more. Basically, I used 100 gallons of gas in my current car, and it gets around 35 miles per gallon. So, it was 3,500 miles, about $200, which in the grand scheme of things is not a huge difference. But if I had been doing an RV, that would have been more like, I don't know, closer to $2,000 more this year versus last year. So it seems to be cost of gas and other things less demanding on a timeshare owner. But there's also now, because of, again, it's the consolidation of the industry, there's regional opportunities, the West Coast, and then I'll add Arizona, Utah, and on that, and maybe even as far east as Colorado, so you can do the regional trips that might be a little shorter, and that makes it available to more people than someone like myself who lives in it 6 months at a time. And then there's also regional eastern seaboard plus Tennessee, so I moved in a little bit because there's areas in the Smoky Mountains, I think, that I want to include that all the way from Maine to Florida. So I think there's huge opportunities, and actually I'm quite excited about it. So when I look at timeshares, I look at them kind of like an RV. And so I just structured my life because, again, I always wanted one, but it wasn't the right thing for me. But I'm going to try to get the best of both worlds. And one of the best things about my new RV is it goes to Hawaii. HGVMax now has Oahu, Big Island, Maui, and Kauai. So they have the 4 major islands covered. And you can, through RCI and their exchange networks, you can get others. But I just really stick to the HGVMax properties. And there are multiple locations on Oahu, Big Island, Maui. And if you follow me, I've done many reviews across multiple islands, and we'll continue to add to that. There's a bus in Hawaii called Haliana, and I don't know if it's in all the islands. I know it's in Kauai and the Big Island, and it offers free, but it may move to $2 a ride. So I sometimes just use that to do my drive close to Costco, and then maybe I'll Uber back once I have all the food. So I can pretty much do that. I don't need to do as much of the tourist things because I've been to Hawaii a lot. But again, that's an opportunity. Just again, Costco has ahi, mahi. I think it even has ono in some cases. Has lots of salmon that's caught close by. Plus, it has all the other things. So you get specialty things that you don't get. You don't get ahi. I have not seen ahi tuna on the mainland, but you do get it in Hawaii. And the local Hawaiian coffees are available, as well as the local Hawaiian rums are available. And I think even the local vodkas. So you do get some of the coffee, rum, alcohol opportunities. So you can sort of still, even shopping at Costco, get reduced prices for the sort of Hawaiian-like specialty things that you normally would think you'd have to get elsewhere. And again, I've changed my diet to eat better and better, and so I'm eating organic food wherever possible, and eggs, chicken, vegetables are all organic. So it also keeps costs very similar to the mainland because the cost difference doesn't seem to be that much. And my new RV loves to travel in the U.S. as well as the mainland. And I did a hypothetical trip in episode 72 across the U.S., which went from California, Myrtle Beach, to via Arizona, Santa Fe, Branson, then Gatlinburg, and then I landed in Myrtle Beach. Then I went up north to Williamsburg, and then cut back to California via Indiana or Chicago. You could do Branson again was the only redundant place. Then I went through Colorado, Utah, Lake Tahoe, and landed back in California. And you can look at that episode. I'll put the notes in the I'll put the link in the notes below. And again, the U.S. has so much beauty, and HGVMax allows me to see so much of it, and so it makes me quite happy. And again, I could do more examples of that across country trips or regional trips, but you get the idea. And finally, my new RV likes hotels with kitchens, and I have 4 million Hilton Honors points. I've gotten those from paying the maintenance. I've traveled throughout the years, so I had 1 million probably before I started doing this aggressively. When I do a purchase of a timeshare, I use my credit card, so you get 14 points per dollar. So even with $1,000, that's 14,000 points. You can see how you can get to 4 million relatively quickly. That's what I do. That's how I can do that, and available for you guys as well. I also stay at the Homewood Suites or Home 2 Suites. Those are my backup timeshare stays, and I've stayed at them. There's a review of one in Texas that I did along the coast. And again, this adds just hundreds of locations. So if you run into issues where timing or whatever, you can't get the reservation exactly the way you want it, then you do have more options. Again, I hope you like this video, and if you do, please subscribe to my channel. I just wanted to give you a different perspective, that some people look at timeshares as the 1 or 2 weeks a year vacation, but you could also do like the 1 or 2 weeks of RV traveling using your timeshares like you would as the campsite, only I would say upgraded. Thanks for listening.